Good morning, guys. This is my first recording in about 4 days, I believe. I have been not feeling my full self. Anyway, last weekend we had high energies come in, and I have spoken about that, whether you're in my Facebook group, on YouTube, and I think a few times on my personal page on Facebook and social media, about how these high energies come in and they make us release things that haven't been serving. I ended up dealing with the fear of and you'll have to bear with me. Something is happening today. I know what's taking place. Well, let me just continue going and you'll understand. When energies come in, and when I say energy is light that comes from the sun, from the solar system, that comes down and breaks into our atmosphere, comes down and goes into the earth, and the earth shoots and radiates more light and energy back up. I don't know if you know this, but our earth gives off her own beautiful frequency in itself. This frequency raised, and I don't have the actual time frame. It might have been in the 80s where the scientists were able to actually capture the sound, and it shifted. I believe it was really low, but now it's like at 7.82 hertz or something like that. I don't have, I can't think straight today because of what I'm going through, but you can always go Google all of that information on your own. But anyway, sometimes, especially this past year, and currently the past several months have been high energy months and times. My awakening process, or my awareness to it, took place 14 months ago during a very high intense shift, and I felt something taking place, but I didn't know what it was. And it's an awakening that is taking place in massive amounts. It's because God wants people to come back to their truest form, to being connected with Him. We have gotten so far away from that unity and oneness. And that's not what this video is about. But as these light energies come in to us, because we all absorb energy, frequency, and we all give off energy and frequency all day long, all the time. Every single organ that we have inside has their own frequency sound. It's all different. And our thoughts give off a frequency. Everything does. Everything, our emotions, everything has a frequency, a vibration. So that's whenever I speak about vibration and frequency, that's what I mean. You have your own musical note that gives off your state of mind, kind of how you are feeling. It's always radiating off of you. And so during these times, there is a time of processing. The energy comes through, the light energy comes through who you are to your body. And I want to explain how it works, because imagine, like, if you have a drain and there's a lot of hair that is clogged right there, the water can't go down until you flush it out, or get all that hair out, suction it out somehow, or if there's a big impact that releases all of that hair back into the drain, and the flow is more readily able to go again. So imagine every time we have a negative emotion, those emotions are always retained into our bodies. Whether it's, our emotions will transfer into our organs, into our bodies, into our skin, every single thing, our blood, everywhere. It goes everywhere. And so when light energy comes in, let's just say it's coming in from your left side, because that's usually the side that it comes in first. If you have an obstruction, which is your negative emotion that is stuck here in your knee, that energy, the light energy, is going to just kind of move there for a little bit, back and forth, back and forth. You being a person who is probably thinking in terms of pain all the time, a victim, like my old self used to, would feel that as pain. And it would hurt instead of be a loving experience, because you don't understand what's taking place. When you don't understand something, it's traumatizing most of the time because we take it wrong. Our perception is off. So until that energy is released, it's trying and moving and pressing up against all of that emotion that you have left there from years and years of trauma, even from your ancestors. It stays here. Whatever is there, it's trying to move. And eventually, when that energy has pushed it out, there's a flush. Imagine the amount of pressure that is flushed and pressed up against that negative emotion. And when it's released, that negative emotion has to go somewhere. It has to be removed out of the body. Somehow, it'll come out in some sort of symptom, a sickness, okay? And it depends on where it's been located out in the body. For instance, I have sinus issues, and massive headaches is my most complaint, my greatest complaint now, and nausea. So all of this, and dizziness, and all of this comes into play. Something was flushed. I had a huge release of a fear right after the high energies came in about disappointing God. That's always been a fear of mine as I have stepped into my truth the past 14 months. And I'm trying not to cry here as I talk. When the energies move again, that emotion, it will bring it back to surface. It has to come back to surface. You have to acknowledge it. When you can acknowledge it, because now you're feeling it again. And the reason why it's been trapped in your body is because you haven't dealt with it previously. That's why it's retained. And then that's why we experience physical pain in certain areas of our bodies. And so whenever the energy helps move it out of you, it'll come back into light. That's a saying that darkness will come into the light. I love that saying because it's what we thought was dramatic and terrible before. When it's brought back into the light, we see it with love for its truth. And when we see it for its truth, it no longer has a tie and control over us any longer. We release it. That is when, a few days later, a month later, whatever, however long it takes for the energy to actually process into your body, you will develop symptoms, okay? Mine was really quick. It was, Tuesday I dealt with it. Wednesday evening I began with a slight sore throat. By Thursday morning, intense congestion and headaches. And that doesn't say that I'm better than you or not. There's no right or wrong here. It is just what it is. We each have a different experience in life. We each have a different journey, and how we handle things is completely different. There's no right or wrong here, so let's not play the comparing game. I'm no better than anybody else. It's just what I have learned and what you learned, and how you end up taking things. it's all different. And we need to see that and see everybody, and don't judge people, and don't compare, and have compassion, because we all experience this. So there's no, that's the reason why we shouldn't be doing anything, because we all go through this. And so as you release it, it comes into the symptom. But then again, this is something after that symptom comes, you're going to begin to feel, if you are especially aware of what's taking place, like I am aware now of everything. I can physically feel things taking place, because I am more mindful of it. I know and I understand this. When you don't understand it, you're missing out on a lot of what's taking place physically, emotionally, and spiritually in life. Because when you are closed off to a different idea, you can't understand anything further, and you're left being a victim. So now, here, the past 24 hours have been the time of this light now has more space to regenerate, and to reprogram, kind of, and make me into the light energy that I am, because that is the purpose of what it's trying to do to us. Here we are in our physical form, which is completely dense. We are that 3D level of human being, human existence. And when we are transformed, just like the Bible says, when we become transformed, and we become renewed within the spirit, we are transformed and renewed into our light body. And it is a physical thing that takes place within us. It's an emotional thing that takes place, and it is a very, very spiritual thing. I know that I'm coming into my light body, not just because of what God has spoken to me, but because I have been seeing for the past week or so sparkles on my skin, not just sparkles in my atmosphere, because sparkles in the atmosphere is the spiritual realm, but it's actually on my skin, and I can see it sometimes when I'm like blinking. It's on my cheeks, glowing, on my hands and my legs from time to time. Not a lot right now, because I'm just coming into this light body. So there is this process, and it is, this past 4 days has been really hard for me this time. The head, the pounding, the pressure has been so intense, and it is necessary. There's been a lot of blockages that were here and hidden. I mean, that's where we hold all of our thoughts, and the tension in our shoulders and our neck. So this area carries a lot of emotion, not just our heart, but our emotions. I have cleansed my heart a lot and filled it with tons of love, but now my body has a lot to still get rid of. So it's a process of, when you change your mindset, you're changing your heart, and then when you change your heart, it has to be filtered out of your body. And it's a complete process that it's still beautiful, but it's traumatizing, and yet it's beautiful, and it's traumatic, and it's beautiful. This journey is a roller coaster ride, just like God spoke to me about maybe last month. It is really a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, of scary times, but yet of great times too. So I just wanted to share that with you, and it's the reasons why I haven't been posting a lot past 4 days. I just can't think straight. Today it's so much better than it has been, and I want you to also, when you are feeling really sickly, really nurture yourself. Listen to yourself. If you feel like eating whatever you feel like eating, you need to eat. Because when we are purging this type of emotions out of us, because the light energy is moving in, we have to replace what is being lost, okay? There's an emptiness now, and our body is craving something because it needs it. But then, you know, our mind is what's creating more of our own issues in life, because, like, everybody's cutting out carbs these days, and it's just your mindset, your belief against what a carb is going to do for your body. I eat carbs all the time. There's nothing that is supposed to harm you. It's your own thought process behind it that is making your own downfall and your weight gain. Every single thing in life is caused by your belief system. Your emotions, your thought process is the greatest vibration and emotion and disease that you create within your own self. And I hope I am making sense, because I am not 100% in my mind because of the fogginess. But I wanted to share that with you today. I am feeling well enough to kind of speak about things, and I wanted to give you guys something about this, because, you know, every time a gateway opens, a portal opens, high energies come in, and high energies have been coming in a lot and more frequent and more together and compact. That means we have a lot of things that are going to be taking place within us, and it's important to share that with people. And again, it's important to remember, it'll take your body time to process what is taking place with the energy that comes in. So hopefully you'll see it with love, and that's the important thing, is to just, and I know it's so hard when you're feeling bad. It's so hard, especially when you're, you know, down with a cold or a flu. It is your body purging what doesn't serve you. And when you just try to have that mindset, every time I felt really low, and I just felt like, you know, being negative, you know, one guy told me to stay alert, don't be that way, be mindful, is what he was telling me every single time. And I would have to just shut my eyes and kind of just be and communicate with him. And I did this a couple of times, several times, you know, yesterday especially, and that's what I think pushed this out quicker for myself, because I was able to connect with him, which, you know, he is the greatest of all sources, because he is the source, and he gave me my strength. I ended up seeing things and understanding more things through that connection. So, okay, that's all I wanted to say today, and I kind of rambled on because now I'm excited that I can actually speak about something, you know, with my head and my voice being back. So, just take care of yourself. There's a lot taking place, and a lot is happening, and just hoping to give you a bit of understanding. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.